What's up, everybody? Welcome
Howdy.
to 321 Screws Throwdown. We're your hosts, Big Shot Joe and Captain Bill.
Sup?
All right.
Welcome
Very good.
to another edition of the Throwdown.
Lot to cover this week.
The weekly rundown of all things going on in professional wrestling.
Lot to cover this week.
Not all things. All things going on in WWE and AEW, pretty much.
Yeah.
We were just discussing.
A lot.
I haven't been watching. Haven't been keeping up with what's going on in NWA lately. But I'm gonna start checking up on that and seeing what's going on there, because I enjoyed NWA. I liked it. I need to
Billy
go back and
Corgan's
watch
running
it,
that.
some more of that. But
Corbin.
this go around here, Billy Corgan, yeah.
Corgan, he runs that. Yep.
We're going to talk about briefly, just kind of real quick recap about SmackDown last week, right before the Elimination Chamber. Of course, we're going to talk about Elimination Chamber, and then the Raw following Elimination Chamber, and then of course NXT and AEW on Wednesday.
Absolutely.
And
so why don't we get right into it?
Also, want to say Happy Friday the 13th to everybody, because that's what it is now. Because we're technically filming this after midnight.
Yes,
so
yes,
on the
we
13th,
are, unfortunately.
We were visiting with some friends, and we were watching the Sting
Greatest Hits DVD from
3-disc
WWE.
DVD set. Yeah. Oh, pretty awesome. If you're a big Sting fan, definitely well worth watching. I would recommend it. So let's get in. SmackDown. We had the NWO joining Alexa Bliss in her talk show segment, Moment of Bliss, with Nikki Cross and herself. So they were out there discussing their upcoming Hall of Fame inductions,
which would make Kevin Nash and Scott Hall a two-time Hall of Famer. X-Pac as well.
Yeah,
because he was in the DX Hall of Fame.
Also Hogan
too.
Hogan's part of this.
So they're all going to become two-time Hall of Famers.
Yep. X-Pac, Hogan, yeah. So, but of course, during the segment, gets interrupted by Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Shinsuke. And Sami gets out there talking crap, and
he's lipping up.
X-Pac, he kind of.
X-Pac was ready.
He gets up out of the chair. He's like, "What's up, man? You want to go?" That was kind of funny. Then of course Strowman came out, and everyone cleared out, and they tried to get over Sami, but he weaseled out and got away.
Hid behind Alexa
Bliss, yeah.
And then ran.
And scurried away. That damn Sami Zayn.
Yep.
There was of course, just a few other matches that really didn't lend anything to any storylines. Lacey and Naomi taking on Bayley and Banks, which of course Bayley and Banks won. Sheamus beat Apollo Crews.
I wonder what they're doing with Sheamus.
Carmella and Dana took on Fire and Desire, along with Dolph Ziggler, who came out. So, and the whole Dolph Ziggler, Mandy Rose, Otis thing ain't quite done.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
No, because they showed Mandy Rose making a comment to Otis, and she said, a girl don't like being stood up or something like that. So she thinks he stood her up, but of course, there's the text that was sent to him about coming later.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he didn't get there. Who sent the text telling him to come later?
Dolph Ziggler.
I wonder if will it be Ziggler?
Or maybe
Or
Tucker.
will it be, Mandy Rose. Sonya Deville.
Could be.
No. So who knows?
Maybe she's in love with Mandy Rose.
I really, I'm hoping that, as much as I would like to see, if Heavy Machinery can't be involved in a tag team title match at WrestleMania, I would like to see a one-on-one with Otis versus Dolph, or at least Otis, Heavy Machinery versus Rude and Ziggler.
Wriggler.
Or Wriggler, as I like to call them. So, yeah. So there was that. And then, of course, we had the Firefly Funhouse. And,
which, of course, is pushing the story between
Cena and
the Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
They specifically mentioned WrestleMania 2014, too.
Yep. At WrestleMania 30, which was 2014, it was Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. John Cena was kind of on a losing streak the last 2 WrestleManias versus The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So John Cena was pretty much, being tormented by Bray Wyatt with his antics, and John Cena says he needs this victory.
John Cena,
which he called him John Cena in the last Firefly thing that he interrupted Cena with. That was funny. So this one is going to be a return match. He's saying, John Cena was responsible for creating the Fiend.
Yeah, it was that loss at WrestleMania to Cena is what started, it started the fire that became the Fiend. So
exactly,
they're really pushing and building this up this year forward. So
yep,
I think it'll be a hell of a match. But and then we had the Gauntlet Tag match, and the winner of the Gauntlet Tag match got to be the final entrant into the Elimination Chamber. So that's what they were. And of course, the crowd fan favorite was Heavy Machinery. Everyone was rooting on them, and they were rolling through everyone. They were beating people until they got to the end. And as we all know, because Elimination Chamber has already happened.
The fuck was that?
I think that was the ghost of Macho Man. Or George Animal Steel.
Calm down, bro.
But anyways,
Woo!
yeah, Rude and Ziggler won, so they got there was the line. To get to come out last at the Elimination Chamber.
He did that.
And then
we're having 2 different discussions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Then of course there was the Elimination Chamber, which took place on Sunday.
Yep, this past Sunday.
Did you watch the Elimination Chamber, Joseph?
I got to see about 2/3 of it because then my wife returned home with my daughter, and I had to give her a bath and get her ready for bed. And then by the time I got her ready for bed, Chamber match was done.
Yeah.
The main event. But I did read the results.
Isn't it aggravating when people ruin what you're trying to do?
Well, my daughter doesn't ruin what I try to do.
Just admit it.
No. I will not.
You were harboring animosity about missing the Elimination Chamber matches.
No.
He texted me and said, I'm very upset.
No,
I'm trying to stir some crap up.
He is.
Lauren's watching.
Look. I don't want to be in the hot seat. Bro.
So, the Elimination Chamber, we had just... These are what we're just going to kind of touch on. Daniel Bryan beating Drew Gulak.
After Gulak was talking a lot of shit.
Andrade retained his U.S. title against Carrillo.
He sure did.
The Street Profits retained their Raw tag titles,
which I think
Rollins
they'll
and
hold
Murphy.
it for a little while.
I think they will too.
I
like the Street Profits. I like them as champs.
They're entertaining, dude. I love them.
So the ones we really want to talk about from the Elimination Chamber are, of course, the men's tag team chamber elimination match.
Oh yeah, which wasn't the main event, by the way.
It was not, but it was hands down the best match
of the night.
It was.
It was.
It was a slobber knocker. It was a pure 6 brawl, as they say. There was at one point everyone was out of the pods. Every tag team was in the match. No one had been eliminated.
I think one team did.
No, they were all out. When it happened.
We'll have to run back there and check it then, because I thought Lucha House Party was eliminated before Ziggler and Robert Roode came in. But I could be wrong, because I do remember with my father-in-law talking, and we're like, good God, there's a lot of people in that match. Because I did get to see that match. So I did catch that Elimination Chamber match.
I can't remember which one it was that did it now, but one of them went up to the pod. It was hanging from the beams, the piping of this chamber.
One of the Lucha House
One
Party
of the Lucha
guys.
House Party guys in the center of the ring. Like everyone was in the
Just
ring.
hanging.
He's hanging and he lets go, and he was high enough up there that he was able to let go and do a flip and laying down on everybody. It was the craziest thing, man, I'd ever seen.
That was cool.
I was blown away, dude.
That was probably
and that
one of the coolest highlights for the night.
That, of course, prompted the "This is awesome" and the "Holy shit" chants from the crowd.
Yep.
Because that was something. But yeah, Lucha House Party was the first one eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then surprisingly enough, it was I believe it was New Day that was eliminated second next.
Yes.
It was New Day got eliminated second.
Then
And then the Usos were eliminated.
Yep.
And that left Heavy Machinery, Dolph and Rude, and Miz and Morrison.
Yep. Miz and Morrison, by the way, was the first team to start out.
Yeah. Yeah, they started first.
And then Ziggler.
Against, who was, against New Day, wasn't it? Did they start against New Day?
Yes.
Or did they start against Lucha House Party?
No, they started against New Day.
So,
If I'm not mistaken.
there was one where Ziggler was trying to get away from Otis, and he climbed up on top of one of the pods, and
Oh yeah.
and
Otis goes up after him.
no, Tucky did on the other side, come up the pod behind.
Oh, that's right.
Got up on the pod on top of the pod behind Ziggler, grabbed him and threw him down to Otis, and Otis caught him, and then threw him up in the air and dropped him across the ring ropes. And then this was another one that prompted another one of the, I don't know, it was either "Oh my God" or "Holy shit" chants, one or the other. When Tucky, who was a large man, did a flip dive off the top of the pod down onto
All of them.
Everyone but Otis. But not even into the ring, mind you. He dove to the little outside area, the part the part that's between the pods, outside the ropes.
Yeah.
So he didn't even go to the ring. He dove from off there, and I'm sorry, man. He's a big guy.
I understand.
That had to hurt when he
But did you
landed.
notice something about the chamber this year? Maybe they've done it the last few years. The bottom has padding now, the outside of the ring. It used to not have padding. It used to be the steel they landed on.
Yeah.
It's like a gym mat or something. I don't know.
Well, you know, in this day and age, with all these
You
guys
can't be
getting
too careful.
head injuries and concussions, they gotta take,
Hey, I
up their
understand.
safety
I
precautions.
totally understand about their safety.
But the big moment, the most memorable moment of the Elimination Chamber match.
The caterpillar.
No.
Oh, okay.
The blowing out the side of the pod to the outside.
Oh yeah, he just ran right through it.
Otis went running, charging. He threw Ziggler into one of the pods, and he backed up, and he went running. Was just going to run, smash into Ziggler in the pod. Ziggler jumped out of the way, and Otis
Just
hit
kept going.
the barricade, the plexiglass wall of the pod.
And fell
Just
out.
blew the whole backside of it out, and just went right through to the outside the ring.
Yeah.
All the way down to the ground, and that's where he stayed. He didn't get up from that.
He
And
sure did.
Tucky tried to yell more, Otis, and then of course Tucky flips out, and he goes back in and he starts pointing at Ziggler and Rude, and he starts.
How did they get eliminated?
He starts, just beating the hell out of them, but then the numbers gained too much, and they ended up pinning Tucky. And then it came down to Miz Morrison, Rude, and Ziggler, and Miz Morrison retained. So
Right.
but that Otis blasting through there was insane.
That was pretty cool.
So
I gotta
Yeah.
admit.
So then we had the AJ. After that, we had the AJ Styles,
Aleister
Black, no disqualification, so you know the OC was getting involved match.
Absolutely.
Which they did. They got involved and so was beaten on Black, and
they were visited by somebody.
And then you hear the gong and the lights go out. When they
Bong.
come back on, Undertaker's in the
Bong.
ring. He had taken
Bong.
Gallows and Anderson out already.
Yep.
And of course he
gave AJ a choke
slam, yes.
Aleister Black with the assist.
And then and then he gets out of the ring, and then Aleister Black goes up and does his Black Mass move, and he landed it solid too.
Did
he? Yeah, he landed a good one. Black Mass and gets the win, but
now if I'm not
with
mistaken,
the assist from Taker.
This is the last pay-per-view before Mania, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So season's on.
Yes, it is. And they're definitely.
Tis the season.
That's twice now that Taker has
shown
up to deliver a choke slam
Super
to
Showdown
AJ.
being one of them.
Super Showdown and Elimination Chamber.
That's right.
So now we're officially on the road to WrestleMania now. There is, like he said, no more pay-per-views between now and Mania. That's the next one.
They got, I think, about 3 weeks. Two and a half.
April
3 weeks.
5th?
Is it? Yeah.
Sunday,
That's
April
right.
5th.
First week of April. So, yeah, I'm stoked. I think it's going to be a good Mania this year. I really do. I think AJ Styles and Taker will be one of the matches of the night. I do think Roman is going to beat Goldberg.
Yeah, I think Roman's going to beat Goldberg as well.
But that's a discussion for another time.
That's on the WrestleMania preview show that we're going to do. So, of course, following Elimination Chamber, the following night on Raw. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I forgot. Elimination Chamber. How can we forget? The women's Elimination Chamber match, which was very interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
First time anything like that's been done. In a
I understand. Baszler has been the odds-on favorite to win that for a while now. They've been talking about that, and going into this, I was pretty confident that Baszler was going to win.
I mean, I think a lot of people were.
Here's the part that.
No shock.
Here's the part that kind of doesn't sit right with me.
What's that, Bill?
There was the involvement with the competitors in this match. You also had the whole dynamic of all three members of the Riot Squad.
Yeah.
Which
that was unique.
Who are at odds right now.
Right.
Involved in this match. So of course everyone's thinking, okay, we're gonna see some Liv Morgan, some Sarah Logan, some Ruby Riott action. They're gonna mingle and mix it up. And
they definitely did not disappoint.
They didn't have that. Because
because Shayna Baszler.
You had
she was eliminating
Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott. We're fighting each other in the match. They kind of got a hold of each other, but Liv Morgan was still in the pod. And they were fighting like right in front of the pod.
Maybe they're saving that triple threat.
Baszler comes out, and she comes over there, and she comes out, and she beats on Natalya and slings her outside the ring ropes. She's like kind of laying out by one of the pods.
Right.
And then she chokes out, or makes her tap or whatever. Sarah Logan with what's he called? The Caraputa clutch.
Yeah.
So, and then she goes over. She taps that, makes Ruby Riott tap out. Same thing. And then she goes over and beats on Natalie a little more. And then Natalya taps out. Now Baszler is the only one left in the ring.
And waiting for two more contestants.
Asuka and Liv Morgan are still in the pods.
Right.
So she's just like walking around, wandering around, like waiting for the next pod to open. And of course, the whole time, Asuka is just, I don't know what the hell she was saying, boy, but she meant every word of it. Because she's just yelling, yelling in the Chinese. But she was giving her an earful. And
I'm sure she was giving her the old what for.
Whenever Baszler would walk over by Asuka's, she's, making these faces and noises, and then she's yelling, screaming, and then she'd walk over to Liv Morgan's, and Liv Morgan would point at the WrestleMania sign, going, "You're not going to stop me from my chance of going to Mania."
But at the end,
she did. But of course, the next pod that opens is Liv Morgan, and
decimated her.
And pretty much, I mean, it wasn't, it was long. It wasn't long. She went over and that was the one where she choked. In Liv's defense, Liv didn't tap out. She was choked out. She went out. Remember, she got up sitting on the top of the ring ropes, and she was holding her up. Her feet were, Liv Morgan's feet were on the ground, and she was choking her out right in front of Asuka.
That match. Remember, I told you.
So Asuka was in the pod.
I get it.
Ruby Riott had kind of beat on Liv Morgan. Then she gets over and she gets up and she sits on the top turnbuckle right in front of Asuka's pod. Asuka's yelling and carrying on like she was doing, And she grabs Liv Morgan in this chokehold, not the Karapuda clutch still, but like a different chokehold. It looked like, I thought it might have been the same one. But point being is she lifts her up because she's sitting up on the rope. Liv Morgan's feet are off the ground, and she's trying to grab hold and get her arms off, and then she starts slowing down, and then the arms just sort of drop. Right. And she's just like holding there, hanging there, while Baszler holds her. Then Baszler throws her down, and then she just waits for Asuka's pod to eventually open. But it took a couple minutes, of her just waiting again. Here's my thing. I got no problem if you wanted to do Baszler that way.
Mm-hmm. They should
do it that way. But make her the next to last person to come out. You had the opportunity for that, what everyone wanted to see, that Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, they wanted to see that conflict. Those three go at each other. And you only got Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott briefly before Baszler come in and taps everyone out.
Yep.
And then, Liv Morgan, I love Liv Morgan, man, and I hope that they really push her. She does well, but nobody expected Liv Morgan to beat Shayna Baszler. So you missed that opportunity. You're trying to set that up, that feud, that whole, Liv and Ruby, that whole kind of thing. The former team members,
right?
All at each other, and you failed miserably in doing that in this elimination chamber. You had a perfect opportunity. You could have had Liv Morgan come out in Shayna Baszler's place and let them fight and do all that stuff, and then have Baszler come out and then start taking people out until it gets down to, Asuka's like the last one, right before.
Yeah. So then
she comes out. So
how did it end?
It ended with
Shayna Baszler
choking out Asuka. Same thing. Asuka didn't tap, but she went out.
So there you have it, ladies.
So
and gentlemen.
she basically
elimination chamber.
She choked everyone out. It just
2020.
Just the way they did it. I think they missed an opportunity.
They could have had more potential in the match.
Yeah, it could have been better. You shot your wad too soon by bringing Baszler out. What she did, they should have let Liv come out in Baszler's spot.
Baszler should have been the last one, or maybe second to last.
Yeah, if you wanted Asuka to be the last, but I think Baszler should have been the last one to come out. Too, but you could have timed it better too. You could have had, Baszler come out. Now you still got Natalya, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan, all four of them in there.
Right.
So then they're fighting, and it takes her a little bit of time to clear it. And I don't agree with Baszler taking every single person out. I would have liked to have seen. Honestly, I would have liked to have seen Liv get at least one of them, either Sarah Logan or Ruby Riott.
I would have been happy with that.
I would like to have seen Liv eliminate one of those two.
But you know why they did that, right? It was to make her look strong going into Mania against
Well, of
Becky
course, but
Lynch.
you could have still made her look strong.
Oh, without it.
And still kind of gave a little bit.
She's already got the crazy aspect down. She bit Becky Lynch.
Yeah, you have them go at it. Say like Liv pins Sarah Logan. Eliminates Sarah Logan. Hell, you could have had Liv because I mean. Am I mistaken, or have they not been building and working towards building Liv Morgan's character up?
Absolutely.
Why not in this Elimination Chamber have Liv eliminate Sarah, eliminate Ruby, and then maybe Liv gets eliminated by Natalya, the veteran, whatever. Or if Baszler comes out last, you got Natalya and Asuka in there. Liv gets... It would, it'd be okay if you had Liv eliminate Sarah and Ruby, and then get, say, eliminated by Natalya or maybe Asuka. Then you'd be like, okay, well, I mean, it's Asuka. She's, former women's ex-champ. Yes, I know.
Well, you're focusing on that Elimination Chamber pretty good. I'm just saying it. We still got quite a bit, my friend.
Yeah, I was got to throw that wrench in there. I was flowing as I was getting
you
more
are
across,
flowing.
And now we're sat here, we're discussing you're doing this because you were.
What? We are flowing.
No, we were. And you.
I was just giving you a timing.
Yeah, and I saw it when you pushed the thing. I saw it. I knew exactly what it was on.
I know. I just.
So, anyways.
Like
I was trying to finish right then because that was the end of it. I just think that they messed up. You could have done it that way. You could have still made Baszler look strong. Because Liv could have taken out, like you said, Sarah and Ruby, and then let Baszler take out everyone else, or whatever. Or let Baszler just comes in and takes out, the two veterans, the two toughest ones.
They Brock Lesnar did.
So yeah,
that's
that was my thing.
It just, I
knew she was going to win, and they wanted to make her look strong, but I think they dropped the ball because they could have done it in a way that they could have just got more out of it than what they did.
Very true. I do agree with you on that, though.
Anyways,
by hearing this, because
so then we move on. We move on to Raw after the Elimination Chamber, and it starts off with Becky Lynch cutting a promo now against Baszler. And she made a comment talking about how, you took out the person that it took me, however many years
Asuka
to finally beat. You took her out in less than 3 minutes,
But you're talking Asuka.
Yeah, because Asuka was that hill that, Becky Lynch couldn't get over. She finally did. She finally got that monkey off her back. But, Baszler took her out like that, so she commented on that. And so I think it's gonna be a good match, but Baszler is gonna win, I think. So we'll have to see how that comes about.
I do think Baszler is gonna beat the man.
Rey Mysterio beat Garza on Raw.
Yep.
And then here's where we get some of the backstage action. You've seen where AOP assaulted KO in the backstage.
Yes.
Beat him down.
I did see that.
So that kind of took KO out of the picture, so to speak. So they're really building this, the AOP and Rollins and Murphy and this whole Monday Night Messiah thing. They're really kind of trying to build them up as that heel faction.
I just don't know what they got planned for them for WrestleMania.
Well, there was a few things that come about from this I think would be interesting.
Elaborate.
So we will when we get to that here. Charlotte came out, could do a little promo and talking about Rhea Ripley and her upcoming match for the NXT Women's Title. And of course, Rhea Ripley shows up.
She did.
The NXT champ shows up on Raw
with her belt.
With her belt. Yep. Comes out, confronts Flair. They have some words. Ripley, punches Flair down and gets out of the ring, and Flair's like, okay. So that's another one that is gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to the Ripley Charlotte.
Oh yeah.
And I honestly
who goes over?
I don't know. I'm gonna be
I don't
honest
know
with you,
either,
man. I don't know if Ripley's gonna retain, or if they're gonna have Charlotte.
If Charlotte wins, she goes to NXT.
Yeah.
But
supposedly after Mania, there's gonna be a big shakeup. They're gonna be moving people around. They're doing another,
right.
roster change up. So
right. Well, naturally they're gonna leave the NXT title on NXT.
Yeah, but I'm saying is I have a feeling there's gonna be. Because they're going to treat NXT more equal. They're going to get draft picks and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Where they didn't this last time, it was just Raw and SmackDown that did. But I think NXT is going to get... Yeah, and they're going to be able to pick people from NXT, and NXT people can pick, other people too. So it should be interesting.
That may be when you start seeing, like, Keith Lee, Dear Djokovic, maybe one of those guys.
Djokovic, Keith Lee.
SmackDown.
I kind of wonder if the Undisputed Era, they'll end up taking some of those guys and moving them, or they'll keep those four together. I don't
foresee them splitting them up.
I don't know. Keep them as a faction. Maybe the tag team guys, but I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Well, it just depends. Because if you send Roderick Strong goes to SmackDown and Adam Cole goes to Raw,
they're
not really going to be able to stay together.
No, they can't.
So the other guys can be drafted as a tag team, but
and you can't have it without Adam Cole.
So of course there was just there were some squash matches too on Raw, just some fillers like Bobby Lashley beating Hawkins,
destroyed him.
The Kabuki Warriors taking on Liv Morgan and Natalya, and the Kabuki Warriors win. Riddick Moss defended once again, in traditional fashion, defended the 24/7 title in an actual match against a single competitor, Cedric Alexander. But Riddick Moss defends the title again. I'm really curious as to what's going to happen with this 24/7 title. Are they going to change it? Are they going to,
I'm telling you, like I said last week.
I would rather see them turn it into the
television
title,
champion. I said that on the last show. Yeah. The television championship. That's what they should do. WWE has not done that yet.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. But it's still a fairly new
So on Raw, we also saw a little segment where Aleister Black was in the backstage, area where he likes to hide and hang out, where it's all dark and spooky and dusty and
Undertaker-ish.
Spider webs and whatnot, Aleister Blackish. And Rollins and Murphy approach, and of course Rollins starts saying, he says, I heard a lot. Murphy's told me a lot about you, and I've been watching this and that. It sounds to me like you got a problem with numbers, and I happen to be an expert at numbers, the numbers game. Because he's talking about AJ and the OC and all them,
right.
Jumping. So what he was getting at is asking Aleister Black if he wants to join his little crew of disciples, whatever. Murphy throws a Monday Night Messiah shirt to Aleister Black. Aleister Black, of course, says, no. I think not, and tosses it back. And Rollins says, if you're not with us, then you're against us.
What is he, NWO?
Yeah, and Aleister Black says, them sound like fighting words to me, so I accept. And then there you have it. It was Aleister Black and Seth Rollins' match. Was set for main event on Monday Night Raw. So, thinking about that, I think that could be a good match. An Aleister Black, Seth Rollins match at WrestleMania.
Aleister Black, I do think, is on his way up. I do think they got something.
I could see Aleister Black winning a title this year. I see him putting a belt. I could see him winning a world title, but definitely he will win a belt. Yes, because who knows where he goes? He may get switched over to SmackDown. It could stay on Raw. So the Intercontinental Championship might get brought over to Raw instead of SmackDown. Who knows? But I see him winning a singles title.
I could see that
this year.
I could see that.
So that'll be interesting. So I was looking forward to that main event. After that, we had the Drew McIntyre versus Eric Rowan match.
Oh yeah.
Which McIntyre was beating Rowan pretty good.
But
then he goes over, and Rowan was incapacitated momentarily. McIntyre goes over, gets that mystery cage, which we all know was the big giant spider.
Mm-hmm.
Sets it down, goes over, gets the ring, the ring stairs,
and smashes.
Goes over, smashes the cage. Rowan freaks out.
You know what that was? That was them trying to end that storyline.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's exactly
because
they killed
it was such a letdown. It was such a letdown, dude.
Yeah, they killed the story.
I mean, naturally, he can only have something that small in the cage. So I mean, I was like, I think Vince McMahon said, "I'm over it. That's it. We don't know where we were going with this. Let's just."
Right. Yeah. So
let's nix
exactly what it was because he smashed the spider.
I just hope Rowan gets to stick around for a while. That's all I hope.
But the Claymore kick into Rowan and the match is over. McIntyre wins.
Did you see?
Still looking strong.
That's what I was gonna say. You notice how right before Mania, man, they're doing that. They're making because I think he's beating Lesnar.
Oh, I do too.
I think he will beat Brock Lesnar and be the new WWE champion.
So.
And then that means, you know what that means? Next year, it's Heath Slater's turn.
So we also saw on Raw
3-man band.
AJ Styles cutting a vicious promo
on
about
the Undertaker.
Taker. Yeah,
he took it deep.
I mean, he talked about how he don't
brought the man's wife up.
Yeah, and then he also talked about how he don't see the phenom or whatever, He says, all I see is a broken down old man named Mark Calloway. I was like, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, he was. If you haven't seen it, go look it up on YouTube.
Show.
Look at.
He's not called Mark on the show ever.
Yeah, he ripped him. He ripped into him pretty good.
Yep.
And I go back and watch that. It's interesting, for sure. That's another match I'm looking forward to at Mania. Is AJ and Taker, the Phenom versus the Phenomenal.
Like I said, I think it's going to be a match of the night, one of the matches of the night.
Yeah, because AJ's good enough that he can carry the Taker through a longer match.
He can.
So it'll be interesting. And then of course we had MVP comes out.
Yep.
Starts talking about how he wants to manage. He wants to get a faction, and he wants to start his first person in his faction. And he wants to build it around his Edge because he talks about how they have such a good relationship, and then this and that. And well, of course, Edge shows up in the arena during this, comes out to the ring, and just doesn't even pay attention to MVP. Starts talking about Orton. MVP gets actually starts running his mouth, talking about what do you say? It's just like you or something. You're just kind of bashing on him. Edge ain't paying no attention, but then he makes a comment, something about how's your wife or something to that effect. He mentions Beth, which we all know last week. Randy Orton RKO'd her.
Mm-hmm.
So Edge, of course, spears MVP immediately, and as soon as that happens,
Randy Orton runs in the ring.
Randy Orton trying to
attack Edge. Edge started getting the upper hand.
You can't pull that move on the Ultimate Opportunist.
Nope.
And that's exactly what
he invented
tried
that
to do.
move.
Yeah, he did.
So
what happens?
Irony sets in, and he hit an RKO on Randy Orton.
That's right. Edge RKO'd Randy Orton.
And
then he went to go get chairs.
And then
he went and got a second chair.
And then
Randy Orton ran away.
And then
he picked up MVP and RKO'd him onto one of the chairs.
And then
he gave MVP a concerto. And then
you flipped the script.
He gave him a second concerto.
He got brutal. Yeah, Edge.
So again,
I forgot how serious Edge can get when he's pissed. Yeah,
So
it's going to be good, ladies and gentlemen. I, for one, I'm looking forward to.
I am looking forward. I'm looking forward to WrestleMania.
There's history there.
You know, people want to hate on some of the matches, but the Goldberg Roman Reigns. I'm looking forward to that. The Undertaker, John Cena. AJ Styles. I'm looking forward to that. Cena and Fiend. I'm looking forward to that.
Big time.
Drew and Brock. Looking forward to that. Edge and Orton. Looking forward to that.
WrestleMania.
The Kabuki Warriors. Here's something else I didn't mention. The Kabuki Warriors also. They were issuing a challenge. They were talking some smack to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. So I have a feeling that there's going to be an Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross is going to take on the Kabuki Warriors at WrestleMania. I think that's going to end up happening.
I believe it.
And, who knows? They could very well take the titles from the Kabuki Warriors, put them back on Bliss and Cross,
Yep.
the Raw Tag Team titles. Then they get flipped over to Raw in the draft thing. And then Asuka, that frees Asuka up. She can go
back to the singles.
Do a singles run, going after one of the titles. So, yeah, it's it'll be interesting. What do we have here? He's jumping ahead of me.
I'm not jumping ahead.
So yeah. And then, of course, the main event was, as we talked about, Black and Rollins. Aleister Black and Rollins. But, as you can imagine, that turned into a melee with the Disciples, with Buddy Murphy and AOP coming out and attacking. And then the Viking Raiders came out to help. And then the Street Profits came out. I don't know what happened to Aleister Black, honestly. He just... I don't know where he went, because the Street Profits also come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Montez Ford gets the mic and says, Ref, before you end all this, how about we just do this and make this an 8-man tag match? So then it became Rollins and Murphy and AOP versus Street Profits and Viking Raiders. I don't know where Aleister Black went or what happened, but he was gone from the match now. And it became those guys there.
Maybe he got injured.
Could be. So...
Maybe they had to change it up.
So, it sucked, because I was really looking forward to the Rollins and Aleister Black.
That could be them saving it for Mania.
Could be. Could very well be. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll see. So, we moved to NXT, which this week, NXT was at the Performance Center, not Full Sail. The Performance Center is a smaller venue. It only holds maybe 300 people, because of the whole coronavirus stuff. So they had smaller venue with less people.
No.
So it was an interesting look to the show, because it was definitely a smaller venue, smaller crowd, but they were all into it. So it started out with Keith Lee defending his North American title against Cameron Grimes. Oh, bask in his glory. I like me some Keith Lee.
Yep.
I really do.
He's good, man. I think he's going to go far.
It was a good match with Grimes. Keith Lee ends up winning it. And during the celebration, Damian Priest came in, attacked him from behind with a stick or a nightstick or something. Hit him a couple times from behind. Well, Dijakovic, who we all know has had some great big matches with Keith Lee, he comes out to help. He chases Damian Priest off, but when Keith Lee recovers, he comes in and he sees Dijakovic in the ring holding this damn nightstick. Thinks it was him that did it, so he slams Dijakovic. So Joey seems to think WrestleMania it's going to, or I don't know WrestleMania, but maybe or the next pay-per-view or whatever, it's going to end up being a fatal four-way with Grimes, Keith Lee, Dijakovic, and Damian Priest. I think it'll be a three-way, a triple threat with Damian Priest, Dijakovic, Keith Lee. I don't think Grimes will be involved in it.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, tell us what you think
in the comments below.
So we shall see. Mia Yim beat Raquel Gonzalez. Kushida beat Mendoza. Rhea Ripley came out cutting her promo now on her show.
And
tit for tat. Charlotte Flair shows up. They fight. Charlotte Flair
does
does
a figure 4 on the ring post.
Yes, from outside where she's got her legs wrapped. Ripley's in the ring with her legs wrapped around, and Charlotte's hanging on the outside, upside down with the figure 4,
which
looks super painful.
Figure 4 though, man, my buddy put me in a figure 4.
Oh yeah, I had one put on me when I was young.
That shit does hurt.
It hurts like a son of a bitch.
So I mean, it is a painful maneuver. So
yeah.
And when you're stretching like that by the ring pole, the post. I'm sure it's going to really.
So that's again, they're just you got Ripley comes out on Raw, and during Flair's promo, Flair shows up on NXT during Ripley's promo. They're really pumping this one up too, man. I again, another match I'm looking forward to at WrestleMania.
I am. Indeed.
We had the Broserweights defended their titles against the Undisputed Era. Good match.
Successfully retained.
Successfully retained, but immediately after, they're attacked by the grizzled young veterans. And but the Broserweights, they actually intervened before the match was over, but the Broserweights were still able to get the victory against Undisputed.
They're going to be tag champs for a while.
Yeah, until they split them up when one turns.
Yep.
So,
which I think would be Pete.
We had Austin Aries and Tyler Breeze had a little face-to-face confrontation.
Austin Aries?
Yeah, he's a new, not Austin Aries. Was it Austin Idol?
Yes.
Austin Idol, excuse me. Austin Idol and Tyler Breeze had a little face-to-face confrontation, so probably going to be something with that. Finn Balor cut a little promo talking about facing Walter. Claims that he's going to show up at the NXT UK show next
Maybe
show.
That'll end up being.
So he shows his passport. He says, "I got my passport.
What?
Don't be surprised to see me." So we shall see. That's another one that's going to be good with Balor and Walter. I'm looking forward to that match too. Again, man, WrestleMania. I think it's going to be a great card. We don't even know what all the matches are going to be. Just what they got so far.
I'm sure they'll.
I'm looking forward to.
I'm sure
every one of those matches.
I'm sure they're going to do another Andre the Bat.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, to get some of the other guys in.
World.
And then this Mendoza kid who Kushida fought earlier, he was out in the parking lot. Out to his car going to leave. Mia Yim was out in the parking lot and sees him, and this black van comes hauling ass through the parking lot. Screeches the brakes right in front of where Mendoza is, where he's putting stuff into his car. These two guys in suits, but wrestling like luchador type masks, jump out of the van, grab him, throw him in the van, and then speed away.
I wonder what that was all about.
And so do I. And that was it. That's all we know. And just
they're gonna brainwash him.
Oh, where the hell are they going with this? This Mendoza he's a brand new guy. Raul Mendoza.
That's how it happens, man.
So, yeah. Keep an eye on that situation because that's going somewhere. I hope. We'll see. We had a newer girl, Deonna Purrazzo, took on Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox won. Then we had Velveteen Dream come out, calling out Adam Cole.
Promo with Adam Cole.
Wanting to go after the NXT title, but of course Cole tells him that
at TakeOver
you haven't earned it. What have you done to earn it? So. I have a feeling that Velveteen's going to have to go through some matches, probably against Roderick and some of the other guys. He'll have to fight through the Undisputed Era to earn that title shot with Cole. But
I think he's going to take it off of Cole.
And then we ended NXT with Ciampa in the ring, and then Gargano come onto the big screen talking to Ciampa. It's like, what the hell with this? He jumps out of the ring. We're at the Performance Center. It's not a big place. You're here somewhere. So Gargano's still going through with his promo, and next thing you know, the door opens up to the room that he's in, and here comes Ciampa. Comes running in, and they fought all over the damn Performance Center. It was crazy. They were smashing stuff and
definitely
just
building up that rivalry.
On. Oh yeah,
definitely.
So I don't know if they're gonna face each other at WrestleMania or it's gonna be their, because I think NXT's also has a pay-per-view on the Saturday before Mania. I think they have one of their pay-per-views. Takeovers, yeah. So I think they'll have some matches will be at Mania, but the other ones will be at their
Tampa.
Their pay-per-view the night before. So I think that one will probably be on their pay-per-view.
They should just call it WrestleMania Takeover.
So, but Now, of course, as we all know, also on Wednesday nights we have AEW.
That's right, the Cody Show.
And you know, we all discovered who Jake Roberts' guy is, Lance Archer.
Lance Archer,
formerly
yes.
who? And when he was in
Formerly
WWE?
known, yes. I was like, this guy looks familiar. If you take away the long hair, give him a short haircut, put a little goatee on him, and no other facial hair, he was a guy named Vance Archer, who I distinctly remember in WWE. He was like mid-Carter.
Yeah.
He didn't make it to the main event scene, but I do remember his matches. He was a good talent, and then it was kind of like one of those, they fade away.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Well, apparently
they left.
AEW sees something in him.
Yeah.
Because they're a lot of hype with them signing and bringing him in. They're putting him with Jake the Snake.
Yes,
and they're
are.
starting him off with a feud against Cody. So I mean, obviously they're putting some eggs into that basket.
Oh yes, they are.
So we'll have to see how that goes.
And Jake the Snake, man.
It could be interesting. Jake the Snake, managing someone.
One thing I just want to share real quick, if you haven't or if you don't.
I know what he's going to talk about.
What? Oh, you know what I'm talking about?
I bet I do.
The Joe Rogan Experience. Yep. Check out that podcast with Jake the Snake.
Please watch it because
he
has not been able to stop talking about this
because it's really good.
So
Jake the Snake, you see him sober and you see he's enjoying life. So I enjoyed watching that. So just fun little thing. Side note.
So they're really playing on in AEW too. They're really playing on the turmoil brewing and starting between Hangman Page and the rest of the Elite. I mean, his own tag team partner,
is injured.
Kenny Omega, but he's kind of at odds with him sometimes, and he seems to have real issue with Matt Jackson. He said that he would team with Nick Jackson, but not Matt. So he's they're really just kind of playing that up. Like he's just there's something there's something bad blood or something there. So kind of curious to see where they go with that.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's something to watch. And of course, talking about the Young Bucks, the Inner Circle assaulted and beat Nick Jackson backstage. Sent him to the hospital, so he wasn't at the show.
Yeah.
So.
And then you did have
we had, I guess, Nyla Rose being the women's champion, they had a women's tag match with Bea Priestley and Nyla Rose tagged, taking on Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida. And
Hikaru Shida.
Mm-hmm. And Nyla Rose and Bea Priestley win, but then after the match, Bea Priestley attacks Nyla Rose. So, I guess the partnership was over, and I guess that might be the next.
Match was done. Business has concluded.
That might be the next rivalry there for the women's champion in AEW.
That would be my guess if they were going to do that.
Yeah.
So,
and then of course we had the main event of AEW was Dustin Rhodes, and he ended up being Hangman's partner in a match against Jericho and Guevara. Now, Rhodes and Hangman Page win, but the Inner Circle comes out in full force, attacking after the match. Beating down pretty good. Cody Rhodes comes out, but he gets getting beat down. Then Jake Hager and them, they grab Hangman Page, drag him up to the top of the stage where it looks like they're going to end up power bombing him off the stage through the table like they did to Omega, I believe it was, last week. I think that's why he's hurt. But Nick Jackson comes out, saving Hangman Page, comes out with, kicking people in the face, but then he turns and he gets right down in Hangman Page's face and flips him off right to his face.
He did one of these.
Yeah, because of the whole thing of Hangman Page talking earlier about not liking or not trusting Nick Jackson or whatever, and he won't, or Matt Jackson, but he'll team with Nick Jackson, but then Nick Jackson got taken out, and so that's why he flips him off. But then he flips him off, and he turns around and takes a chair shot from Jericho, and then Jericho puts a chair shot on Hangman Page as well. So for the last 2 weeks now, the shows have ended with the Inner Circle in mass beating people down. Last week it was
It's
Moxley.
NWO all over.
Yeah, it's kind of like the NWO, their version.
You watch
So.
Hulk Hogan shows up next week or something.
Yeah. So that's how that ended. So, and that's pretty much the rundown of what went on with the main
this
big
week
shows
in pro wrestling.
So we got some big things coming up though with some of the future.
Yeah. How about
like
the
Raw?
shows we're going to?
Raw coming up. Well, SmackDown later tonight. Of course, tune into that because that's going to be interesting. Of course, with the Fun House and Cena. And
Cena's going to be there.
I don't know if Cena's going to be there or not. It'd be be interesting to see if he shows
I'll call
up.
him later. I'll find out.
But so. But I do know that on Monday on Raw 3/16, it's going to be Stone Cold Day, and Stone Cold Steve Austin will be on Raw this Monday night. They've announced.
What?
Exactly.
What?
So go ahead and get you a cold beer. Get you another cold beer. Get you some chicken wings.
Get on your four-wheeler.
Get you some jalapeno poppers. Get
What?
you some cheese sticks.
What?
Some pizza.
What?
Some more beer.
What?
Did I mention
What?
beer? And tune in to Raw and see Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And that's
on
the bottom line.
3/16
Because 3, 2, 1
Stone Cold
screw
Day.
says so.
So yeah.
I did that.
So a couple other things I'm going to talk about real quick. Congrats. Finally. It's taken them way too long for this to happen. But the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, has been announced as being
in the
inducted into the
2020
2020 Wrestling Hall of Fame.
WWE Hall.
WWE Hall of Fame, absolutely. It's been a long time coming. Should have happened a long time ago, but
should have.
I'm glad to see that they getting him put in.
Wasn't he put in already as the Hart Foundation or no?
No.
That was just the two original Hart Foundation.
Yeah, it was just
okay.
Bret Hart and Neidhart.
Yeah.
So, something else I real quick just to go back to with talking about AEW is I'm kind of curious. I don't know with y'all. When is the Brody Lee or Luke Harper
gonna show
character going to show up on AEW?
I
really honestly thought he was going to be the guy that Jake the Snake brought out, not Liz.
I did too. I thought
Archer.
it was going to be him.
So now I'm wondering if maybe Brody Lee might be part of
the Dark Order.
The Dark Order. Who knows?
I could see that